Edinburgh. I don't know. I know it has a fascinating history. I've never been there. I've always wanted to go to the comedy festival in Edinburgh, and I've sworn I'm going to go there someday. But I don't know much about the city itself. It has an incredible history, right?
It does. It's the most haunted city in the world.
Really?
Well, no, because ghosts don't exist.
And you did this when you said haunted. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, the history of Edinburgh is absolutely screwed. So basically, when the Black Plague was wiping out most of Europe, Edinburgh managed to survive a bit by just being utterly, utterly ruthless in how they dealt with it, because they couldn't come up with any medicine. They just decided to build a new Edinburgh on top of the old Edinburgh, and if you were ill, they just sort of bricked you into your house.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, genuinely, the doctor would come around and check you one day, and they'd be like, I'll be back tomorrow to let you know what your diagnosis is. And then you open up the door the next day, and they're just bricking you in, being like, sorry, it's real bad. There's mass...
Keep in mind, that was a house call back in the... back in the 1300s. That's how they took care of things.
Yeah, they just bricked you in there, you and your family, just your kids and everything.
So Edinburgh is built on a city of people that were entombed alive because they were sick.
Yeah. So basically all...
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and there's also, like, mass graves every couple of thousand feet. But it's, yeah, it was not a good time. You know, I don't know if I can say it on the air, but you know the term shit-faced?
Yes, if someone's had a lot to drink, we say they're shit-faced, yeah.
It comes from Scotland. So basically, obviously, there was no sanitation back in the good old days. So if you needed, when you were doing your business during the day, you'd do your business in just a bucket. So all the pee and all the number twos would go into that sort of bit.
This is how I grew up, by the way.
Oh,
yeah. Things were rough on the outskirts of Boston.
I figured, yeah. Always just a little bit too late, but late to catch up. So there was a time of the night where they just agreed to throw it out the window. It was about 7 p.m. and everyone would throw it out there, and it would run down at the same time, just so it wasn't happening all day. And you would, when you throw it out the window, you shouted the words "Gardy Lou," which is
Gardy Lou,
which is it's the Scottish way of saying "Gardy Low," which is French for "watch out for the water," which was a very polite way of saying, "Here's a bucket of pee coming at your face."
Yes, half pee, with the other things as well. Yeah.
Other things as well. But some people would get too drunk during the day after they'd finished work, and they'd walk outside and they'd forget what time it was because watches didn't exist, and someone above them would shout something in French, and they'd look up. And that's how you were so drunk that you were shit-faced. Yeah. That was so lovely. Some of you tried to join. It was like a clap. It was like, you all get stickers. Very well done.
This is the saddest history lesson it's just incredible. You should have. This is a kind of history that it's so dark and sad.
There was the woman that died twice.
What?
In Scotland, right? So back in the days, there was a time when you used to...
Are you a tour guide there, by any chance?
I will be.
I don't think they want you to be, by the way. Could I know what this pretty flower is? I don't know what that's all about. Come over here. I'll show you the toilet that never stops.
If you come to Edinburgh, I'll show you the toilet that never stops. So basically, there was a time in Scotland where you were allowed to hang women for cheating on their husbands. Right. No matter how awful the husband was, it was back in the days. So there was a woman, she cheated on her husband, and they hung her to death, and everyone checked the body, and she was dead. And then they threw her in the back of a cart to go take her away, throw in the ditch, wherever they throw dead bodies. And she just woke up in the back of the thing, and the guy on the horse was like, like terrified that this zombie's now alive.
Right.
And but because they'd signed the death certificate, she was legally considered dead, and therefore divorced. They were just like, you are now get to live an entirely separate life. And she lived to be 65 years old, got remarried to a guy that never cheated on her.
That's a happy story.
It is, yeah.
I thought what you were gonna say is that she came back and they were like, oh, hang her again. That's what I thought. Oh. That's where I thought it was going.
No.
Because you don't seem like nice people with all these stories. Hey, you, get back. Yeah.
Oh, no, the torturing that went on in Edinburgh back in the days was, because, like, that's where Edinburgh University was a lot of medicine.
You have University of Edinburgh, which is considered one of the greatest medical universities of all time. Yeah,
and the reason it started out was because, obviously, when after the Dark Ages, which was when Christianity essentially banned all sort of medicine and whatnot, Edinburgh was one of the first universities to start doing it again. But you can't really test on alive bodies because that hurts people. But what you can do is you can test on dead bodies, but
Right.
the fresher the body, the better it is. So there was these two guys called Burke and Hare who started going grave robbing to begin with, trying to get, like, they'd literally wait until the funeral was done and wait till the family left, then run and get the body and take it to...
So that people could at least experiment and find out about anatomy.
Yeah, check out what's on the insides. And then they realized there was more money in fresher corpses than that, and they became mass murderers. So they
would kill people just to make fresh bodies.
Yes, and Edinburgh University...
You know what? That shows initiative.
Yeah.
Right?
And also, who likes digging?
Yeah.
A lot of work.
That's a good kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. Why wait? Why wait?
Yeah, and to be fair, it did help us. I mean, I'm not justifying it.
Do you have one pleasant fact about Edinburgh? I'm just curious. Everything so far has been horrible. How about this? It is the birthplace of golf, is it not?
Well, Scotland is. I don't know if it was Edinburgh in particular.
Oh, it wasn't Edinburgh in particular. Can't you just claim that so you have one semi-pleasant thing?
Oh no, I love the dark history of Scotland.
I bet you're going to say like, oh no, back then we used human bones to play golf.
Yeah, and their eyeballs.
Skulls and eyeballs instead of
Yeah, you take the eye out and then you try and put it back into the eye socket. And if you did it quick enough, they could see again.
Yeah.
That's the science that we learned from all the bodies.
Stupidest thing I've ever heard. Is it? Did you play a lot of golf growing up?
I did. I actually played on the Royal Dornoch. My granddad signed me up because he just wanted me to play with him. So I played there until I was about 13 or 14, and then girls started kissing me, and I've never played golf since. I'm not saying that people that play golf, don't have a sex life. I'm just suggesting it.
You're suggesting there's a better use of your time.
Yeah. Because I'd love to get it. It's a fun game. I did enjoy playing it. But, like, when you're 13 years old and everyone... Because, like, you've got to understand...
You were 13 when you started kissing girls?
OK, 15, whatever.
15 still depresses me.
Really? How old were you?
I was in my late 30s. Oh, we're telling jokes. Oh.